Yo, sorry I was muted. All right, we're live and direct. This is live song reviews. If you've never been on the channel before, this is where I give you guys feedback on production, mixing, mastering, songwriting, performance, just to help y'all out. I'm Bradley Duniston. I've been in music for 28 years now. So making a living with music for over 15 years. That's my lifestyle. That's what I do. All right, so if you're here right now, say what's up. Don't be a creep. Don't be a mouth breather. Don't sit in the corner just being, just say what's up. All right, and we're gonna just get right into the songs. I'm gonna just go. So if you guys are here to learn, to share, to connect, you're in the right spot. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you're an idiot. Straight up. That's all I gotta say. All right, let's lock in. I got a bunch of songs. I'm going to start with Elevate by Third Shift Whiskey, featuring bass clef, album version, Eric Duncan. Let's lock in. You guys can give your feedback as well. Always helpful.
Another Third Shift Whiskey and Man with Cassettes production. I am the one and only bass clef. And we are
Great-worthy music.
This is for your mind. Look, this ain't gangsta rap. Perhaps nothing like it. I never lived a life, and I ain't trying to try it. That be fake like the soda pop that claims to be diet. Drink this crisp hip hop, don't knock it till you try it. I made some great beats with one of those Casio keyboards. Back in high school without the honor roll rewards. Girls plentiful, but I had songs to record. An innocent kid trying to live for the Lord. If I can uplift your soul to the most high level. From the basement studio, turning more sound waves to gold. Plug in the headphones, crank the volume. Make sure the guitars and keyboards rock in tune. Now throw your hands high for my team in this tournament. Let the blood flow, take off the brain tourniquet. Our time's gonna reach way beyond the city streets. We'd like to say we woke, but we still sound asleep, man. So much going on, people killing, people dying. 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 But I won't dwell on it, I think I elevate my mental. I flip through my mental pictures just like a screensaver. Gigabytes of my life transformed down to paper. Not here to take her, just maybe dance for a minute. Make it worth the while, cause I'm winning while I'm in it. The hater will always stare, but never speak. I dare from the soul, you know, keep them weak, deep.
All right, cool. This track has some cool stuff, like as far as like lyrical content. I think that's kind of the good part about this track. I think like making the vocal really filtered and distorted like that, it's not really working. It feels too small. The mix doesn't feel like at a professional level. It just feels kind of demo-y, you know? Like that's a cool effect to use maybe in a part of the song, but then like we got to come out to like full voice, you know, where you're big and you're pronounced. And I think the reason is because of the content. The lyrical content is pretty serious. So when it sounds like you're recording through a toilet paper roll, you know, and you got distortion on it, you know, where you're like, like it's just like an effect. But it makes everything feel really small. And it makes the mid-range feel small. The low mids feel small. The drums aren't hitting. There's like a lot of problems with the mix overall, I would say, personally. You don't have to use my notes or think that I, you know, have it all together or anything. But I would just say like this doesn't feel, it feels like it's ready to open up, but it's not opening up. Like you have an effect part, and then we're like ready for the full song, and like the full song doesn't come to. That's how it feels to me. But yeah, arrangement wise, like it's cool. It's pretty basic. You got the chorus, you got the verses. I think you could do more like melodically. Maybe, you know, you got like some pitch rapping and stuff going on, but it kind of stays in one spot, you know? Like I have first verse here, kind of stays where second verse is.
Till you try it, I made some great beats. Make make it worth their while, cause I'm winning when I try it. That be fake like maybe dance, they shit their pants. Basement studios be the madness to my mess.
You know, it just kind of doesn't go anywhere. It feels really flat for me. And I think that has a lot to do also with the mix and like how you're processing the vocals. It just feels really like mixtape-ish, if you will, you know? Like it's not opening up. The low end's not hitting. There's no punch in everything. It's kind of like filtered and swept and like feels over processed. Like overall, that's the sound that I'm hearing. I think there's some cool elements, obviously, like the boom bap drums and like what you're talking about feels like you know, it feels like it could be impactful, but it's just not being represented in a sense that I feel like is big enough or in your face enough. It feels kind of like filtered and like standoffish, especially for what you're talking about. So I'd like the mix and the production to kind of match the performance and the intensity of like the conversation you're having. And it just doesn't get there for me. It just kind of feels like, okay, well, that's the guy in the corner, like, you know, talking some shit that might have had too many to drink or something, you know? So I like it to feel more star power, if you will. So let's move on. Hopefully that's helpful for you, Eric. 09 Dreams Tommy. Let's hear it. Oh, and by the way, you guys, I fund all this show. I fund this YouTube channel. You know, all my money is spent on this shit, right? So I don't make money from this channel. I don't make money from these live song reviews. So I really appreciate it if you guys just played your part, shared the show, liked, subscribed, dropped comments, just kind of participate and help grow the community here, because that's what this is about, right? So I don't know if you guys understand this, but when you have a YouTube channel, you're either like shelling out dough for it to do the productions, the edits, the filming, the cameras, the lights, everything you're doing to do that. Or, you know, you're a huge channel and you're making a bunch of money and you've got a bunch of sponsorships. This channel has no sponsorships. This is directly out of my pocket. So every month I'm spending thousands of dollars on this channel, on making content, on editors, on people helping me, you know, make and produce the content, and doing these live song reviews. Take out time from the studio and from client work and from my work to give you guys some games. So share the show if you guys like it. All right, that's all I ask.
First, I'm afraid this day is just so very strange. The landscape is pastel and the bullfrogs have dentures, little horse legs. Never know what to say or how to call when a dream is over and I'm away.
An interesting song and an interesting concept, but I don't think it's connecting. And I'll give you some ideas to help it connect a little bit more. But I think you have too many ideas that you're trying to throw into this song, and they're detached from each other. So you have this like backbeat and you have this like kind of country rock kind of thing going on, which I really like. I think it's really cool. The vocal itself, I think, has some potential, but it's kind of mixed wrong. You know, it feels like you just like recorded it and put a little compression on it or something. I don't know, but it doesn't feel in the mix. It feels separated from the mix. The bass and the drums, I think, are they're a good starting point. I think they're a good foundation here.
From my hands,
Yeah, so I'd strip everything back to just bass and drums, and I would get those to really like be the room, right, and the dimension of the song, and then everything else needs to fit in that, right? So instead of having like what we do with mixing a lot, and hopefully you guys get something out of what I'm about to tell you, but a lot of the times with mixing, when we're mixing a record or we're producing a record, right? The drum tone, the sound of the drums, the room that it's in, the reverberation, whatever you want to call it, the space, the sonic like print of the stereo imaging, the depth, you know, everything about the drums, the kick, the snare, and the levels, that sets the soundstage for everything, right? So you have a soundstage set with these drums. They're a little dull, so they feel more tucked back. So you got to make everything kind of fit in that idea and that vibe. Right now, it's like you have the drums and the bass, and they're kind of in their own world, and they have a nice sense of space and a nice idea, and they're really warm, and they kind of feel like tape saturated and vintagey, which I think is cool. You know, you can spruce that up. You can do whatever you want to do with that, but that is your foundation. That is your stereo image. That is it's your soundstage, right? And once you have that soundstage, everything's got to fit in that soundstage. So if you want to put guitars in there, you can't just put the guitar like over here really dry going. Now look, there are no rules. Do whatever you want. But it feels so detached that the listener is going to think, this sounds demo-y. It doesn't compete with a record, right? It doesn't sound like a record. I don't know why. They're not going to know why. But it's because you're not gluing things together. They're not in the same realm, right? It's like, like it's like panned way right, and it just feels detached from the song, and it's really dry, but it's not like in the mix, right? And then the vocals are like this like really dry, small thing that's kind of in the middle and like detached from everything. So we want the vocal to like take up more of the middle and have some space around it and have some of that room and that dimension of what the drums have. Right now it feels like you recorded it on a SM7B or a cell phone or something and just kind of put it in there, and it just doesn't sound right. It feels really weird. I don't know how to explain this too well because, you know, mixing and production, it's hard to like talk about. A lot of times it's like, let me show you, but just really listen and pay attention to what's going on with the vocal.
Rays warm in my face. Hope there's a tomorrow. Time won't let you borrow against today.
Yeah, maybe even just like giving it more of that slap, that like slap delay reverb kind of thing you have. It might help you with that front to back. And then brighten the drums up just a little bit. Like that snare just sounds like a you know what I mean? It just doesn't pop. So if you want the snare and the kick drum and everything to meet where the vocal is, you have to connect them, right? And connecting them is not like an easy task. It's crafting, and it's like using the tools that we have with EQ, harmonics. I think you could use harmonics with this. You know, distortion, you know, things that are going to add harmonics to the fundamental. So if you have the fundamental of the drums, you can add a little harmonics to that, and it'll kind of help give some fuzz and some glue that helps like reach out to that vocal and go, hey, vocal, let's connect, you know? And the vocal, the same thing. It needs a harmonic hug. It needs something to kind of get it in the mix.
That you can't repay. Future's bright like a sunny day. Anyways, how you doing? Didn't catch your name.
Right, so these are all like pretty much the sonic characteristics of this record. It feels like you're trying to be minimal, which is great, but it's not natural sounding. It sounds like you're just somewhere you're disconnected. You're like, I can't figure out how to get this to sit with this, be in the same world. And then you got this little rap thing going on. It could be cool to like change up some things, you know? Maybe it's just like drums and bass here and you are rapping and then, you know, the guitar drops out, or a little other rhythm guitar, or like the organ plays something a little bit more hip hop or something. Something to connect and glue, because that feels really weird when you just start rapping like that. It just feels out of place. It's like, that's doesn't sound right. You know, maybe even a different voice was doing that. That'd be sick. Maybe it's in verse 2 or something like that. But it feels off-putting here. It's like, what the hell? 40 seconds in and you're going to do a hippity hop, scrippity dop. I didn't catch your name. Like, it's like, what? I thought this was like a country song. I'm so confused now, you know? And I think your listeners will be confused too. But you do you know, you're the artist. Like, do whatever the fuck you want to do. I'm just giving you ideas to like help ease that in and like make it palatable and something that people are excited about, instead of just like, okay, now you're just going to start rapping yabba dabba doo on it. It's not even an interesting rap line. Like, I didn't catch your name. How are you? Like, that's not an interesting line. So right there, I'm like, what? The writing starts to feel a little bit cliche and silly, a little too contrived, if you will. And then let's go here to this chorus. I won't take too much more time on this.
Landscape is pastel and the bullfrogs have dentures, little horse legs.
So that feels like a pre-chorus or a bridge. It doesn't feel like a chorus. You know, you drop out, vocals are gone, and then you got the hoo-ha. But there's nothing in between there. You know, you kind of do a little bit of a vocal thing here, I think. Doesn't feel like a chorus.
Never know.
Yeah, it just doesn't, that feels like a bridge. It doesn't feel like a chorus to me. You have this momentum going, and then all of a sudden you're like, ugh. And it's like, never know what to say. Like, just kind of drops off a cliff to me. So the who, you know, that's cool, but why are you doing it? You know, like we got to do things like in production and music and captivating an audience and being entertaining, in telling a story, in whatever it is that we're trying to do, in art and in life. We have to do things for a reason, right? So if you're gonna go who, ba da 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 da, you know, give us a melody up top, go higher or something. But this feels like a bridge. It feels like we're gonna go down, you know. So it kind of takes the energy back down. And it's weird because like once you come out of this, it feels like the verses get more energetic than the chorus, which is fine. You can do that, but I don't know if you'll get a lot of listeners coming into the second verse there. So that's the feedback I got on this one. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to because I'm not producing the record. All right, how about you? Mix Universal Standard, Mark Ingram. I don't know, Mastered Universal Standard. I don't know what the fuck that means, but let's get it. Yo, do we have like a theme going on with these with tonight? Like, what do we got here? Like another kind of rockabilly country kind of sound? What are we doing here, guys? You guys all smoking on the same corn cob? Let's lock in. Right away, I'd say tighten the timing on that shit because that pocket is all fucked up.
Take me as I am, 'cause I already told you ain't gonna be your man. You got me satisfied.
All right, so the vocal here is just washed out, no intelligibility there. I'm like, huh? It's like, just doesn't. It doesn't, like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't think anyone does. I think you said you take me as I am, but it's very, very murky and weird, and I don't know what else to tell you there. So Pocket's funky. I think it has a lot to do with the drums. I don't know if you program them, they sound kind of MIDI. If they're not MIDI, then you try to like correct them to a grid, or you have a bad drummer. Let me see. Loving this show. Ray, the producer. What's up, Ray? Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys showing love, because you know, I'm here for the likes. I'm here for the praise. No, I'm just playing. I'm just trying to praise your guys' music here. Song would work so much better if he did more of a fusion, maybe country hip hop. Yeah, that could work. I like that. I like that idea. Keyboard part is amateur. Agree. Totally. Gotcha. I feel like the acoustic guitar is too high and it is crowding the other instruments. Agreed. Okay, what do we got else? Yeah, that organ part being more hip hop makes sense too. Great suggestions. Good. Okay. I actually had corn on the cob yesterday. All right. Well, you ever smoke out of a corn cob pipe? A little tobacco. I don't smoke tobacco or anything, but you know, I smoke weed every once in a while, because hell yeah. I'm a West Coast kid. All right, I have some in the fridge. There we go. All right, so far in this track, I'm just kind of bored, to be honest with you, Mark. But that being said, I'm going to keep going. Vocal is very unintelligible. Is that a word? Can I say that? Non-intelligible? It's hard to understand what the fuck you're doing.
'Cause your last thing I wanted went across the line. Oh, but I know the truth. And I'm taken by you. But I can't take the pain. How about you? I can't take it, baby. Now what we gonna do? Got a little satisfied, but you're the last thing I wanted.
Yeah, this needs a mix, like really, really bad. It just needs a good mix. But for the most part, it needs like correction as well, right? And I think stacks, like vocals, you need like harmonies, you need doubles in here. Especially when you're going into some sort of chorus here where it's like, ooh, like that shit, ooh. Like you need more dimension to it. It feels very much like a demo, like a very flat demo, where you're like, oh God, how long is this song? Like if I heard this like live, I'd be like I see the picture of this, and Mark, please don't take this like, you know. Actually, it's fine. If you're offended by it, sorry, dude. You can grow the fuck up. I see like a really like just kind of a bar scene. You know what I mean? Like at a dive bar kind of place, and the band's like in the corner, and they're like, you know, playing, and guys are like at the bar like going, you know, having a beer. You know what I'm saying? Like real slow. It's just kind of boring. You know, it's just kind of slow and boring. I think it just needs like more energy. You need more stacks, you need more high parts. The guitars, like, they're not carrying it. And I think that you might have this inclination that the guitars and the rhythm guitar and like the little licks and stuff are carrying the song. They're not carrying the song. The drums and bass are like the big lacking part, and the vocal. So drums and bass, I would even like kind of pick up the speed a little bit, maybe the BPM, you know? Like it was a ooh, da 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 da. You know, you need like more pace. just feels kind of like, it's like, oh God, you know, like everyone's tired in the band. They're like, I want to go home. You know, so that's kind of just like my initial reaction, because I can hear some musicality in there, and I mainly hear it in the guitar. I think the guitar player probably has been playing for a while. Everybody else just kind of feels sloppy and kind of weird and bored. But that doesn't mean that you can't, you know, come back to this and go, hey, how do we spruce this shit up? You know? And then once you spruce it up, get it mixed and mastered. Like, don't be cheap. You made a 5-minute and 28-second song, and I don't think it's that long. I think your bounce just got weird. Let's see. It's like, 4 minutes and 18, 4 minutes and 14, something like that. But like, once you get it to a point where, like, you know, if you sped it up, this would be 3 minutes and, 45 seconds, right? So just give it like a good 5 to 10 BPM pickup, and just give us a little more like beachy, Jack Johnson-y kind of vibes to it. And I think, okay, so so it's all you. So basically you're producing it all, right? You're like, I'm producing this, I'm going to get this all done, I'm going to mix it, I'm going to, I remember doing It's All Me. I don't do that anymore. One thing I definitely encourage you guys to think about is the who, not the how, right? You're like, oh, how do I program drums? How do I get all these plugins? How do I learn how to mix and master? It's like, bro, you are going to waste your life away. Like, unless you want to be a mixing engineer for a living, you don't need to learn deep mixing techniques. You need to hire a mixing engineer, Like, mixing is very affordable nowadays, especially for great quality. Like, I could take a song like this and mix it and fix some like pocketing things and some tuning issues and stuff, and it would sound like, it's like an 80% improvement. You know what I mean? And then you'd be like, wow, I'm way better than I thought I was. That's like, oh, that's $400. Like, what else are you gonna spend $400 on? A phone bill? Like, I swear to God, like, people don't invest in their music. It's silly to me. Like, they're like, no, I do. I bought plugins. I bought a studio. I'm learning all this. I'm like, bro, you invested all your life in this. You must get paid like 13 cents an hour. Like, you spend like 80,000 hours on trying to figure out how to make a song all right. That's crazy to me. So you got to move faster. We're in 2024 in like, 2 weeks here? Less than 2 weeks. And people are still moving like it's 1973. And they don't have a record label deal, and they don't have any team, and they don't have anyone around them. They're just like, that's me. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to produce my stuff, add my drums, program, we got the tools. It's like, just because you have the tools doesn't mean you should do everything. I got QuickBooks. Does that mean I'm going to go do my accounting? Like, fuck no, man. I pay an accountant. They do my books every month. And that helps me, stay on top of my taxes and shit. Like, you guys got the who, not the how. Hire people, get a drummer. Like, I can get you a drummer for $150 to play drums on this. They would pocket it right. So just giving you some tips and some advice from someone that's been doing this for 28 fucking years. Like, I know you guys are like, oh, this young guy. Like, dude, I'm 40 years old. Like, I started playing music when I was like 15, like 12, Like, I got a guitar at 12. Like, I've been in the music business for a very long time. Like, it's going on like almost 2 decades, Like, let's spend a little time on things with other people. Let other people do their thing. You do your thing. You're like, I'm really good at guitar. Great. Play guitar. Have someone write your songs. Like, don't be ashamed. Learn from people. Take that stuff, put it into your toolbox. You feel me? Okay, so here you go. So that's the truth right there. But dude, it's tough to pay for mixes on any salary, right? Like, any salary. Doesn't matter. Janitor, you work at Costco. Like, it's still tough to pay for mixes, right? So it's like putting the cart before the horse, right? You're like this is the best way to put it, right? You want to make music for a living, right? But you're like, I don't want to spend any money. I just want to spend my time. So if you got a janitor's salary, let's say you get paid $15 an hour, and you spent 80 hours on this track, 80 hours on the track, $15 an hour, you could get paid doing janitor work. All right, let's do the math. 80 times 15. All right, you spent $1,200 on this fucking song. For $1,200, you could have hired a producer, a drummer, a guitar player, a mixer, a master engineer. You could have done everything. You could have had a full song for $1,200. So go work, go pick up some overtime shifts, take the $1,200, your $15 an hour, the 80 hours you're spending on this shit, and pay someone. Just get a little help, right? 10 an hour. Okay, well, okay, there we go. Mark, come on, man. I'm not going to get all petty with you right now. This is ridiculous. Anyway, my point is if you want to do something professionally and you want it to be worth something, right? So a lot of people don't want to put any time or any money into anything, right? And then they want to get paid for it. Like, I should get gigs for this, right? I should get paid to go play music out. I should get $250 to go play a bar with this music. No, you won't get anything from this music until you have a good sound that you can promote and show to a bar owner, and they go, fuck, this sounds amazing. Yeah, play the bar. We'll pay you $250. We'll pay you also a percentage of the door. We'll buy you dinner tonight. You know, it's like so many people have excuses of like, I don't have the money. Like, nobody has the money. Who has the money? Bro, when I went to school for audio, like, I was like, I don't have the money. It was $100,000 to go to the school I went to. I was like, yo, Sally Mae. I was like, yo, federal financing. You know, I pay $1,100 a month on my student loans every month right now today to pay those loans back because I fucking want it. I wanted it. I cared. I wanted it. So I figured it out. I think everybody that wants it enough will figure it out. There's people that come into this country that have nothing. They don't even have a fucking penny. They have built companies and businesses worth millions of dollars. You know, there's no excuse for any of this shit. Like, if you guys really want this, you'll figure it out. You will figure it out. You will work harder. You'll figure out ways to get there. You'll find people. You'll connect with people. You'll actually really figure it out. But if you don't want it that bad, you'll talk about how little you make and how you can't afford it. That's the truth. I'm not here to bullshit you guys. And I don't care if it's a janitor making $10 an hour or it's someone making nothing because they're, 20 years old and they're unemployed. My brother, he's in rehab right now. And he's fucking 37 years old. He has $0 to his name. He's figured it out. How'd he get to rehab? Right? That shit costs money. He doesn't have any money. He was on fentanyl. He was a fucking addict. So, come on. If he can figure it out, you can figure it out, man. All right, I digress. Let's keep it a little brighter than that. The Afterlife, Nathan Chester. I hope the feedback helps, though, man. If you want to produce your own shit, mix it, play on it, do it, man. Do it. But you got to own it. You got to go study shit. You got YouTube. You got tutorials. You got the internet. You got a phone in your pocket. If you don't have a phone, you got a computer. You don't have a computer, you can go to a internet cafe. You can borrow a computer. You're on the computer right now. Like, come on, bro. You got all the tech everybody else has got. Let's go. All right, let's get into it. Nathan Chester. I'm gonna have to skip this one, Nathan. I think you got a bad bounce there. It sounds like a bad bounce. I don't know what happened. All right, Lanika. What do we got here?
Take.
Okay, all right. Let's check it out. Hey, I'm not against seeing a little video. Let's go. You could pre-sell some albums to supportive family and friends to get money for the album. Man, you could do Kickstarters. I scored a whole fucking anime off of Kickstarter. That shit was kickstarted. Shit right here. See that? Kickstarted, bro. Just other people's money, man. Asking, hey, I got an idea. You want to put money into it? So yeah, man, get creative. Get creative with more than your music. Get creative with your marketing. Get creative with the ideas you got. I'm not here to put you down. I'm here to inspire you and motivate you. I'm here to give you feedback. I'm here to give you a little bit of what I've learned, the skills that I've learned over the 40 years that I've been alive, you know? There's people in here that might be in their 60s, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean you can't learn from someone that's lived 40 years. Like maybe you wasted away 40 years. Like, I don't know, but like, pay attention. Pay attention. There's so many opportunities out there, y'all. Like, don't sell yourself short. Quit with the fucking excuses too. I'm so tired of excuses. I'm so tired of excuses. Like, bro, I was working at 14 years old for my dad at a glass shop. He owns a glass shop. Cutting my hands and shit. I didn't want to work. I had to buy all my own shit at 14 years old. I've been working literally full time since I was 14 years old. It's just like, come on. All right, let's watch this video, man. I'm excited about this shit.
3,054. Young Nay. I found love, but she came broken. Put her back together with the words I've spoken. He broke her heart, now she has gone. To put her back together, I'll cut my hands on the shards. I want you in my life, even if I have to sacrifice some things. I promise you that one day I'll get you that diamond ring, 'cause you make my heart sing. Let's be precise, we're only just friends, but I'm hoping that...
All right, well, hey, keep at it. Keep at it. Let's go. Lanika, you gotta give me something more than that, man. Let's go. All right, Cosmic Sin Connor Marshall. So this is kind of a vibe. I think there's something here. It's there's like moments where I'm like, oh, this is dope. And then there's moments where I'm like, oh man, come on. Come on, man. But yeah, like I like the psychedelic kind of rock shit. I was actually out like 2 nights ago at this place called Madame Siam. It's here in Hollywood. It's just right off Hollywood Boulevard. You know, I'm like walking, I just walked down there. It's like a New York walk down there. But that's kind of like exactly what this place was playing, is this kind of stuff, like psychedelic rock kind of vibes. It's a little contrived, this whole idea here. It feels like I've heard this before a million times. But that being said, I think there's something you can do with the vocals. I think the vocals are really cool. I think like right here you hit like this like nice throaty thing, which I think is really cool.
Unattainable perfection. We've been left alone to be controlled, and life is contradicting you and me. Tied up, flightless, left alone.
Yeah, like on that alone part, like I think that's kind of your sound right there. Alone. Like it felt like you're coming from the gut, which I think is really cool for this kind of idea. That being said, overall, like I can hear you guys are like trying to get something that you don't know how to get to. And I don't want you guys to like think that I'm like putting people down when I'm telling you guys the feedback. It's really hard to give feedback on music without like feeling like it's like, you know, you need to do this, you need to work on this, etc. I think the big thing about this record and this sound is that you're like 1970s psychedelic rock when you really need to be 2024 psychedelic rock. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you have to add synths and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean you have to, I got to put serum in there. You know, that's not what that means. It means you need to update the sonics. And the sonics right now on this, like I got my monitors jacked pretty high where I feel like it's at a competitive level. This just sounds very, very small. Like, it's spacious, but it's small. Like, it has a lot of dynamics, but it's small. So it just feels not filled out. And it's not at a competitive level as far as like the sonics of this. So if you played this back to back against like Tame Impala or something, this would just feel like an old song that is all right. You know, you'd be like, I don't know who that is. Do you know who this band is? You know this song? Nah, not really. Right? So the way I don't know what your goals are with music, but like this channel and like me personally, I'm going to give you feedback on getting things to be at a market viable position, a position of like, yeah, we can make a living doing this, or we can start, you know, booking shows, or we can get this song to do something, right? Get you some doors open, if you will. And I think the way you would do that with this song is get the sonics there, right? And spend some time on the writing and the arrangement, and, you know, getting the vocals, like when you're singing, you're not pitchy and you're not out of tune on spots, but you're like taking enough takes to where you're like, okay, that take isn't right, let's comp a take. And this feels like you just took one take all the way through. That's okay, but as a producer, like, I would have you take it all the way through and then take it all the way through again and then take it all the way through again, and really have you focus on the parts that you're weak on, right? And also focus on the parts that you're really strong on and make them really exciting and really explosive. Because I really feel like Sonic's the Hedgehog is what you got to do. And I think Ray knows exactly what I'm talking about. You need Sonic's the Hedgehog, and you need to get the rings. You need to collect the rings. But once you collect the rings and you're you know, Sonic, then all of a sudden you're going to get your sidekick Tails. And Tails is going to help you immensely, right? That producer, that engineer, those people that you really need in your corner to help you kind of accelerate this and make it something special. 4 minutes and 55 seconds long, that's wild. And if you're going, if you do, maybe you're in a time machine and you're like, bro, but I live in the 70s rock and roll was the shit. Okay, cool, man. But you're going to have a very, very small audience for that. And it's going to be very, very niche. And don't be upset when, you know, you put your stuff out and you put out 10 records, 12 records, 50 records, and you still only have 20,000 monthly listeners and you're just barely kind of gigging around and still got a day job. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that's where you're headed if that's your idea. Let's do 5-minute songs. Let's treat it like it's the 70s. Fuck everybody else. If you're going to do that, you better get really, really much better at songwriting, much better at sonics, much better at production, much better at playing, because this isn't competitive enough. But that being said, like, there is something here, and I really do like the landscape and like the ideas, like the vibe overall that you have here. I think it's really dope. And I would say refine, you know, just keep refining it like a good refined sugar. I think we're going to get through every song tonight. So it's 7:20. I got like 10 more minutes. I'm going to try not to like rush this shit, but, oh shit. You know what? I'm going to check out David Electric, because he uploaded first, actually, 9:48 a.m. Let's tap in. And he's the homie.
The time is now. Yes, the time is now.
Let's go!
We're pulling up. We're pulling up. We're pulling up for the champions. We're pulling up.
All right, so just so you guys don't get like super discouraged, David Electric is he played in like Steel Pulse and stuff, so he's been around the game. Reggae legend here. All right, so don't feel discouraged when you hear this and you're like, damn, this shit's hella good. Just good dude, and he's got the experience. Johnny Gillespie in the house, baby. What's up, baby boy? It's good to see you.
We're pulling up, yeah. We're pulling up for the champions. The sun is shining so bright. It gives us the power of life. The wind, it blows with emotions that sends the waves through our oceans. The moon pulling, pushing the tides. At night, she lights up our skies. The infinite energy, the life of eternity. Infinite energy, the endless possibilities. Infinite energy. Yeah, we're pulling up for the champions. We're pulling up. We're pulling up for the champions. We're pulling up for the champions. We're pulling up for the champions. It's time we check in our minds. Look deep and there you will find your source and the mental clarity.
Hold on, y'all. I think I know what this track needs. Just, I'm gonna keep playing it, but I'll be right back, okay? I think I know what this track needs.
To see your dreams into reality. The pressure that is building inside ignites the fire that burns in your eyes. The infinite energy, the life of eternity. Infinite energy, the endless possibilities. Infinite energy, yeah. We're pulling up for the champions. We're pulling up. We're pulling up for the champions. We're pulling up for the champions. We're pulling up for the champions. Woo. We're pulling up. We're pulling up. We're pulling. We're pulling up for the champions. 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 We're pulling
Sorry, I had to blaze some ganja for that one. All right, you feel me? Yeah. So I got some notes on it though. I really like the vibe. We're pulling up for the champions. Super dope. A couple things here. Biggest thing for me is I think the vocal mix can be better, and the vocal production could be better. I really love the doubles and the stacks you have on the pulling up. That shit is like super dope.
The time is now. We're on to victory. Now it's now. It's now. We're pulling up for the champions. We're pulling.
We're pulling. Like that shit's tight. I love that. Big thing for me is when I get into the beginning of the song, I hear the organ, the reggae organ on the upbeat and stuff, which I love. And look, I lived in Costa Rica like back when I was 20, like 20 years ago, back in Costa Rica, going to Limon and learning a little bit of Patois, which is like an islander language. Kind of Jamaican, I don't know, meets like islander stuff, right? Lots and lots of Rasta stuff, Rastafari was everywhere. But also just a lot of surf culture and stuff, and reggae. Like reggae was massive there, and reggaeton was just getting into Costa Rica at the time in Central America. So this was back when like Sean Paul, like that was huge, like the biggest thing ever, right? So that was like an interesting cultural experience for me. Spent like a year there, lived there, right? Sold all my stuff. I was 20-year-old going to a community college in Eugene, Oregon. Sold everything. My car, all my DJ gear, all my music production gear, my computer. And all I took was a backpack full of clothes. And not many clothes because I was going to a country that was very tropical and very hot and humid. And my acoustic guitar, which I still have, I think right behind me here. Yeah, the Martin. I took the Martin D15 with me. So that Martin is like 22 years old or something. But where I'm getting at is I spent a lot of time on reggae. Right, like reggae was like something I like just studied and like it's like I put it in my veins. I was like in Costa Rica, smoking their weed, hanging out with the Rastas, surfing, and just listening to reggae all day long, every day. And underground reggae, roots rock reggae, reggaeton, right? Like everything in between. So I just love reggae. And I spent a lot of time understanding like the Americanization of reggae and Bob Marley and coming to the States and making Legend and, how it was produced and why it was produced the way it was produced and how that kind of laid groundwork for what reggae is known for today is like, radio reggae, which I would say this is, right? So we're going for like the Bob Marley roots reggae. That's what this feels like to me. I think the organ is great on the left, but if I was like updating the sound and I was like producing this, I would add something over here on the right to kind of respond to that. Maybe it's a spring reverb. Maybe you just need to like throw a spring reverb on the right that like tickles the right ear. Or maybe it's a rhythmic guitar, right? So you have this right, with the organ on the left, but it's panned so hard left that there's nothing on the right, which kind of makes me feel disoriented in a sense. So if you had something on the right that was like going, something like a guitar rhythm thing, and just listen right here. If you guys are wearing headphones or you're listening in your studio on your studio monitors, like that's best for these live song reviews, obviously. Because I'm in a tuned studio, I'm listening on very nice monitors. I want you guys to understand what I'm hearing a little bit more. But if you listen on the right, it's just missing the rhythm on the right.
That sends the waves through our oceans. The moon pulling, pushing the tides at night.
And what it is you have something on the right, but the mix itself feels imbalanced because you have this kind of organ sound that has a body to it. And that body in that organ on the left is really pulling the ear, right? Because the body of anything, like that 200 to 800 area, that mid-range body, low mids, the right? That's not on the right. What's on the right is like a, it's like super filtered, and it's actually tucked back a little bit. So it feels like this to me. It feels kind of like off, just off to the left more. So I don't know if you guys can hear that.
She lights up our skies, the infinite energy, the light of eternity, infinite energy, the endless.
Right, so that body needs to be on the right as well. I don't know what it is. It could be a different instrument. It could be, the same instrument. It could be an organ, like you're doubling it or something. But the mix feels like it's hanging left because of that, and that kind of kills me because the vibe is so smooth and the groove is so smooth that you really want that to be like very balanced and very like pulsating, you know what I mean? Like you want that to be pulsating on the left and right. We're just like that, that really vibey, wavy kind of thing. But right now it's like doing this, like, it's like imbalanced, and it throws your vibe off a little bit. Other thing is like the vocals themselves, I just think need to be produced better. Like maybe it's the mix of the vocals that are weird for me. I think they can feel more organic and natural. And also, like, I feel like they need a little bit more de-essing. But that could be like how they were recorded. Like, I don't know what mic you were using, but the microphone is kind of sounding a little bit like weird on the top end. So it tells me that it's like a Chinese capsule or something.
The endless possibilities, infinite energy. Yeah, we're pulling up for the champions. We're pulling energy endless.
And I mainly hear it in the sibilants, right? The endless energy. Like it's like very filtered out. It feels weird to me. I don't know if you recorded this yourself, or if you recorded this, I don't know where you recorded it, or if there was like some sort of fixing being done on vocal noise or something like that. But it feels weird. It doesn't feel organic and natural and warm enough for me.
And find your source and the mental clarity.
Right, so those S's, they're like super sharp and super bright. So I'd want to like soften that, and I want the warmness of the vocal to be there a little bit more.
To see your dreams into reality. The pressure that is building inside.
So all of that being said, like the groove itself, the bass is, I think you nailed the reggae bass tone the best. Like that shit is perfect. That subby, like that shit is perfect. Drums I think could be a little bit more punchy, but yeah, vocals are not. Yeah, exactly. I agree. So they're just not meshing with the instrumental. They're not glued. They're not in the track. And that has a lot to do with harmonics. That has a lot to do with warmth and depth that you get from, like, let's say you put a U47 tube microphone on your vocals. That warm three-dimensional depth, going through like a 1073 preamp and just like giving you just like some glue, some like gooey, warm, very natural sounding vocals that feel right in the track. So that's kind of what I hear. Just more mixed notes and stuff, but production as well. Like I would just say, like on the left, you have that like really bodied thing, with the organ and that body of the organ. But on the right, you're like swooping it out or whatever. I like that more balanced. I'd feel like that would be much more modern sounding, and it would just be cool, and it'd feel better. It'd just feel more groovy and warm and like it's giving you a nice hug. But that's it. That's what I got for you. Hopefully that's helpful. And you guys, that's all the time I got because it's 7:35. And I really appreciate you guys coming through. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I know like sometimes I get a little bit, opinionated, if you will. And it's easier to do because like this is my YouTube channel. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to put anyone down for making music. And I hope you guys understand that. I hope you put your music forward going, fuck. Brad's going to say whatever he wants to say about this shit. And I'm just giving you like my natural first, like, this is how I feel about it. So maybe take that, and go, fuck, if that's what he's hearing, like initial response, I should probably pay attention to that. Right? So if not, you don't have to. It's all good. But I love you guys and I appreciate you guys coming through. Guys, girls, everybody else in between. Anyway, when are you live streaming again? Well, that's the question of the century. All right, good. So like, it's hard because, it's like, you're always going to offend people. It's just the way it works. And, like I care enough to where I don't want to discourage people from doing this, Like that's really important to me. I don't want you to be discouraged by it. I don't want you to go like, wow, I suck. I'm not going to do this. Like there's a big difference between that and, oh damn, he's giving it to me like how he hears it and I should pay attention and maybe, try to fix that thing and hopefully learn from this. And even if it's like tough love or, and I don't want to be that guy either, like where I'm like, I'm giving you tough love. This is just really who I am. Like, I'm just talking to you guys how I talk to anybody. If you met me in real life, you'd be like, oh, fuck, that's exactly how Brad is. So just so we're clear, like I may offend you and maybe you're not going to be friends with me. That's the best way I could put it. Maybe we're not going to be friends, maybe we're not going to get along. And that's okay. I'm at a point in my life where I'm okay with that. I'm okay with us not being friends because you don't like me and you think the way I talk or whatever how I think is not something that you really vibe with. And maybe I think the same way about you. So it's cool. I'm good with that. But I'm not good with like discouraging people from chasing their dreams because God knows, like I've been told by so many people that have never done it, never been there. You can't do this. This is dangerous. Why are you doing this? Asking me questions, double questioning what I'm doing. And I hate that, I hate that idea. I wish people were more like straight up, like, hey, this is what I think about it. And this is how I can help you. And hopefully, you apply that and I'm here to help, I think if more people were like that in the world, this world would be better, but everyone's like, yeah, that's great, bro. And they just say that to like kind of brush the idea across. Like, yeah, I don't really want to give you feedback. I don't want to waste my time with you. It's great. So if I got in these reviews and I just started kind of pandering and not being myself and not really truly telling you what I think, I feel like I would be a fraud. And I would rather you be disappointed in me than me be disappointed in myself. Okay. So let's be real here. Like, I love you guys, but I don't love you guys as much as I love me. If you can't handle that, then I don't know. Maybe we all got to go to counseling together. Hold hands, sing Kumbaya, and worry about that shit. But I'm not here to worry about any of that. I'm here to help you guys. If you guys don't see it as help, don't show up to the show. Don't upload a song again, right? But hopefully I'm making myself clear and like how I feel about this situation. And yeah, I just smoked some weed, so I'm feeling a certain way. But this shit's good, man. I really like this weed. THC Designs. Crescendo. Not sponsored by them. But if I was. All right, you guys. Too much. Is this too much? Is this too much for you guys? Is this too much?